Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. I'm going to do, this is going to be the next weekly, well it's bi-weekly I guess, bi-weekly challenge for the Artful Crafts Junk Journaling group, but you can also just kind of consider it a craft me along if you're not in the group. But I changed my mind about what challenge I wanted to do because I'm working on a bunch of vintage style junk journal pages for some swaps, and the project I want to do, I didn't feel like it was going to work well with the pieces I already had started. So it looks like I'm going to lean towards fabric, but not everybody does fabric. So I'll make this a lot. I'm going to loosen this up quite a bit. I have a lot of doilies, and I keep collecting them and collecting them, and I have ideas, and then I never do them. So it's the theme is going to be doilies, but you don't have to use a real doily. I mean, it can be just something that's doily like, and it can be paper. It can be paper. It can be real doilies. It can be, crocheted stuff that looks like doilies. But you could also just use a stencil, and then I will show you some examples. This is not a doily. I don't actually know what this was. I think a friend gave this to me. But it's looks like it's part of a either table runner or baby blanket maybe, but this is something I would consider kind of doily like. And you get to choose how you use it for the challenge. Just use a doily or a part of a doily and make something for your junk journal. And I'll show you what my ideas are in a minute, but I love Battenberg lace. The paper, this is the paper I'm going to use for the one I'm doing. I'm also doing a page for myself, so the one I demo is going to be for my own page, because I am a little probably looser on how I do things maybe than others are. I don't want to make a binding nightmare for somebody else. So I'm probably going to do the project I'm thinking for my own page, but we're folding these in half and for the swap and altering these, and then people can bind them into a book later. So I love Battenberg lace, but this ecru color really looks awesome against the avocado dyed pink. So I really like this color, but I'm probably not going to use this particular piece because I don't necessarily want to cut that whole thing down there, but that is an idea. But I love these for pockets and stuff. But I don't like things that have a lot of cut work that's going to get caught on stuff, so I usually doctor them up a little bit so they don't have that issue. This is another thing I was going to show. This is probably a little bit big for this, but I got these a while back. I got them off of Amazon. They call them French embroidered doilies. It's basically a heavy tulle or tulle type fabric with embossing on it. But I got these because what I really wanted to do someday is just stitch them in as an overlay over the page, and you can just flip it back. So I do actually like this color a lot with this, but that's not what I'm doing today though. I want something that actually has some work that altering to it. I just got this today. I love this. This is a table, I'm thinking table runner, it probably is. But I love the cut work, and I love these flowers. So I have to do multiple pages. This one that I'm going to do today is for me, but I'm also going to do some similar pages, not the same, but similar for the swap ones I have to send out. And I'm thinking about using this into a pocket. So I'll probably make this off camera and then post a picture of it. But I want this as a pocket, and then I will stitch it. I think I'll end up stitching it, because this is, with all the cut work, I feel like I have to stitch it. But I don't like the getting caught in these holes. So usually what I do is I put something behind here. It could be a piece of book text. It could be a digital. Sometimes I'll do a piece of acetate if I don't mind the shiny. If I don't want the shiny, I can use something like vellum. And then, because what I would probably do is make it larger than this and then just do the cut work around this so that will hold it. But what I was testing it on is what I'm thinking is I will probably do one of these digitals behind it. Now you're going to have to imagine that this part is gone because that part won't be on there, but like this would show down here in the corner. Or maybe this one. This one's a little bit light for me, I feel like, for vintage, but and then this one's actually gray, but I think the gray didn't actually look too bad for the contrast anyway. So I will probably put something behind there when I get ready to make my pocket. But I also like the idea of tracing paper, parchment paper. I mean, I can keep going on and on and on with ideas. So that's what that's what I'm probably gonna do with this particular piece. But I'll have plenty of leftover stuff for other things. This is a real vintagey one. This one I personally would not probably use as a pocket. I just think it would be too fussy. But it's something I would glue down or stitch down on something else. So the one I think that I'm actually going to use for my book is this one. And I don't know if it's considered a table, like a placemat, but I consider it a doily. This one's a little bit larger than the page, but I like things poking out, so that works fine for me. But what I was going to do is wrap it all the way around the page, I think. Wrap it all the way around, and then on this side, I want to do like a stitched and layered collage, fabric collage, and then it will eventually get stitched into the book and wrapped around this page here. I'll have to figure that part out, how I'm going to manage that, because I want to have this part prepared so that the two pieces stay together. And then this can flip back, of course, so I'll have to have something underneath there. But I think that's what I'm doing. The other option I thought about is pulling this back further and then just cutting a piece of this off. But I could even fold it in like this. See, I could keep coming up with ideas all day. Actually, I kind of like that idea. So anyway, I'll get together my stuff that I'm going to use for that. But as far as the challenge, anything that's lace or not lace, doily like, and I was going to show you this. I didn't do this. This is paper I bought. But they basically are using those vinyl placemats or doilies for dyeing their paper. So that's one way you could kind of manage this challenge. These are my images I got out. Oh, I think these ones are paper. I decided I'm not going to use paper on mine. I want a vintage photo on this, but I'm going to use some fabric ones I have found that I had printed. These are also like little dyed doilies. I don't like things that are super delicate that you can't get things in and out of, but they do make great pockets if you can figure out how different ways of enforcing them. Oh, those were scraps that were on my desk. But I was going to show this. This is what I did a few years ago, and it has a lot of doily-like things in there. This is actually cardstock, but it's out of one of those 49 Market kits. I don't know if they're kits, I guess, but ephemera packs or something a few years ago. They did them in like different color themes, and I had gotten like a sage green theme pack. This is also a piece of a doily. I have a whole bunch of these somewhere. I'm not sure where they're at, but I got those probably on Etsy, I think, but somebody had dyed in all these different colors, and I just bought a whole pack of them. They're very, very delicate, so with those particular ones, I only glue them down. I don't use them for pockets themselves. If you can get a heavier duty doily, sometimes people will fold them different ways into different kinds of pockets, but and then there's a little piece of this sticking out over here too. So you just use a piece of doily or something that looks like a doily or stenciling or whatever you want to do. And just use it creatively. Anyway, that's the challenge. And so for the challenge, just, excuse me, post your photos in the group and use the weekly challenge hashtag, and then For every entry, this will include the previous challenge also. For every entry you do, we will put your name in a drawing, and then the person who wins at the end of the month will get a little prize pack from Kim of, you know, like ephemera and stuff that you can, some kind of little giveaway supplies to use for your junk journaling. So the other challenge is still open, so feel free to continue. If anybody else didn't get to it and wants to do that one, you can also still post for that one. Both challenges will close out the last day of the month, and then we'll do the drawing. So anyway, that's that. So let me get organized. This one's basically going to be a fabric collage, but I got to figure out what I want to put on here, and then I will pause and come back when I've got a little more solid idea on this. And this is the image I'm using. I got a bunch of stuff laying out because I know I want this girl. I printed this on some of that cotton, those cotton sheets for your printer, so it's still got the backing on there. I printed, I cut it out, fussy cut it out, and then I won't take the paper off until right before I get ready to glue it down and stitch it. So what I did, I am going to do the wrapper thing. It's not a true wrapper. It's not going to wrap around to the front because this is a whole, this is like a folio, and this may or may not be the middle section, but I'm going to go ahead and do something here, a pocket or something. I'm not doing that today. I'll do that later. I just want to decorate this part with my doily for the challenge, and then I'll work on the other stuff later. I decided not to make this a flap because I really want to put a lot of stuff on here, and it's just not going to work well when I flop this thing back and forth. So this will just essentially be a decorated page, I think. But I want her, but I really like the quilted look. So what I'm going to do is, for this, what I do is I use this, it's like a pink wool blanket. I'm going to stitch her, let me think about it. Yeah, I have to stitch her on here first. So I stitch her on here. I'll glue it down a little bit, and then I'll stitch on here very carefully, and then I cut it out. And I'm going to try to cut it close to the line. There's going to be a little bit of a pink halo around there probably, but that's, oh, it's still off camera, sorry. I have some ivory, but I cannot find it. It's misplaced, or at least the bigger pieces are, so I'm using the pink today. But it should go okay with this, so. I'm going to take the backing off of this. Sometimes I can use Scotch Create to glue this down, but it can be challenging because the fabric is actually very thin once you get this pulled off. Here's the trick. I want to avoid her face in case I miss. I'd like to avoid her face so I don't get any glue marks in there, and just spread this out a little bit. It's not awesome. I just want it to hold good enough to stitch it down, basically. I really like this particular technique because when I quilt it and it's on that fabric that's printed, it makes it look so 3D. So, okay, I'm going to go stitch this and I'll be right back. Yeah, I took little tiny stitches. I didn't quite get it all under there as good as I could have, should have, I mean. It was really hard. It gets hard over here in this area to see, and I want to be careful not to get stitching through something critical on the face. I'm just going to add a little glue under there. But once I get this cut out, I will have to stitch it on this piece again, which will probably make it even look more quilted, I think. But I'm just putting a little spot of glue under a couple places where I didn't quite get the stitching up in there in the fussy cut areas. That should be good enough. Now I'm going to cut around this thing. I want a little bit of a border, but not too much. The trick on this is I keep my stitches really small. My machine sets it like at 2.5. It's really weird. My old machine had it set to a 3, but the 3 on that machine was much bigger than the 3 on this one. So this 2.5 is pretty small, but it works good for this kind of stuff where I have to go real slow and be careful. It goes good with curves and stuff. So then I'll show you what I was doing laying these things out is I tried to lay it out directly on the this, and it's gonna look different now though, isn't it? I forgot when I lay them out for test, I don't have any pink around it. It's just it was blending in with this. So I got another piece out that I was gonna cut out and put behind her head, but it might not be necessary. So I'll relay this out again and make a decision because I don't want to cut this vintage doily up until I know I need it. I don't know if this gap between the arms is going to show, so I'll cut it out just to be sure. What I do on these is I've got a kind of a straight edge here, so I'm probably gonna put a piece of trim or something over that to make it look a little more natural, so she's not floating around. Okay. Yeah. So I swear I got a little stray piece of glitter. Okay. And I still do. Oh, there's something fuzzy there. I was thinking about cutting the center of this doily out and having this piece behind her head. So I'm not going to have all of this on there, but I just want that cutout piece. Yeah, this is the top. So I want to see what it looks like before I decide if I want to cut this up or not. I still like the look of this, so I'll cut it out. I really wanted this to show, but I have my heart set on these big flowers stitched on tulle, and it's just not going to show basically. But I have some, no, I don't have it showing there either. Oh, but this piece on the back maybe will show. I'm probably just going to do another collage back there, but I'll do that later. So maybe I can use that, I guess. This is called taking one for the team, I guess. I can't keep every detail I like. Okay. I don't know, little stray threads kill me sometimes. Okay, so I think I'm going to do that. And then what I was thinking is probably a piece of this to kind of cover up the bottom of her. And then this. I can't talk. There was 3 of these pieces, and I just whacked out a piece, and I was like, ooh, it makes a semicircle. Oh, I still didn't get all the stuff trimmed away, I guess, in here. I was only going to use 2 of the 3, but then I kept looking, and with the semicircle shape, I felt like it was mimicking the shape of this. The trick is I don't want to lose all of this lace here, so I'm just going to try to strategically place these so that I can have at least some of the lace showing. I think this needs to come up more. I lay it out on here so I can figure out what it's going to look like on the page. I ended up bringing this over way more so I could have more room on here to basically fit my design. Now this was part of my trick. Part of her dress is going to get covered by a petal, I think. Okay, we don't want her face covered up. This was where I wish I had the big ones on the outside and a small one inside, but this just happened to be the piece I cut, I guess. I can also pull this out and overlap it more on the outside edge because I don't mind things sticking out. So that might be what I need to do here. Okay, so if I do this, I still have lace showing here. This is semi-transparent. I'm going to put something in the centers. What I was thinking about is maybe a little piece of this vintage cheesecloth and a jewel or something. I'll figure out something in the center, but I think that this part looks sheer as long as I fill this in. So that was what I kind of decided I wanted to do. Okay, I think that placement's okay. I'm just going to strategically glue, let's see, I'll take these pieces off. I'm going to strategically glue under here, but I'm not probably going to actually stitch this piece. I think I'm just going to stitch the girl onto the doily, and then it will kind of trap this stuff underneath. But if I can get a little bit of glue, that will hold it down, and then it'll get anchored. And then once I get this thing done, I can always go back and glue. Usually I'll get my stuff down, and then I'll go through and start adding more glue where I feel it's necessary. And then I will put her on here. Basically, I'm lining her head up with the center in that. Now, I gotta think. Oh, I think it's supposed to be the scalp on the bottom, I guess. I don't know if the scalp will show anyway, but just in case it does. Okay. All right, I was trying to figure out if I want to stitch all this and then glue and stitch this, but I think I can make it work this way. Because I kind of plan out my stitching. And so I'll have this on here, and then I'll take it off of the paper, but I'll go stitch it at the machine. And so I think I'm going to start in this corner, stitch around the outsides of this, and then once I get back to this point, I can go ahead and stitch around her again. The stitching might end up on the pink part rather than on the white, but it's still kind of a close edge, so I don't know that that's going to happen. But anyway, it'll look a little bit better once it gets stitched down. This got a little crooked, but it's okay, I guess. This, I want to put this on now. Okay, that's not too bad, actually. Oops. I got a hair in there. Okay. Oh, yeah, and I want a little bit of the trim to show, too. So I think I got it okay. It was way up here before, but however I got it positioned, but it could also be the way it's sitting on the page, too. There's a little bit of stuff hanging over that's probably going to get trimmed later when I stitch it into the book, but I'm just going to glue these down now. Oh, and I want to put a ribbon on here, too. And I don't know where that ribbon's going to be yet. I want to take the paper out because I'm not 100% sure if I am, in fact, going to glue it down or not. So let me put a piece of paper and another piece of paper so that I can pull this back. Because that way, if I choose to go ahead and turn it into a flip instead of attaching it to the paper, then I still have options here. Then usually I just kind of peel this up and move the stuff around a little bit because I really don't want that permanently. Oh, I swear I just got glue on this. Okay, here's my little cheesecloths. 2, there should be 3. I'll figure out what to put on here after this. But this is the bigger piece, so... Okay. Okay, I went and finished it. I just hot glued down buttons on these two, and then this little blingy trim here, and then I stitched a little piece of ribbon on here and then tied into a bow at her waist there. For the purposes this video is done, but because I will work on altering the other stuff and then figuring it out. I don't know. I still think it might be okay for a flip, because what I would do is stitch it down to this side. I mean, I'd have to fold it out flat and then stitch it down this way on the inside of that, where that fold is going to be. And then it can still... it looks like I still need some glue under there. And then I can still flip it back if I want and put something down here. Maybe just journaling. I don't think I would want to do a lot under there, but I really like it. And then I'll figure out what I'm going to do on here. But I think on this side I'm going to put a little... I don't want this thing flopping on this particular side, so I think I'm going to put a pocket, like a little narrow pocket or something, and then I will just glue this to the outside of the pocket, basically. So, and then I'll figure out what to do on the back. But anyway, that's the challenge, is to incorporate a doily in some way. It can just be a small piece, it doesn't matter. Use it how you like. It can be a real doily, it can be, you know, stenciled, whatever you want to do. So anyway, thanks for watching, and please like and subscribe. Thank you.